morning. It is another Thursday morning, and it is another, excuse me, and it is another session, show, call it what you will. Who knows what we call these things? Uh, the spirit world sees all. Yes, I know it really, really does, though. It really, really does. First of all, before we begin, I would like to say good morning to my spirit guide, Gregel, who is always to my right side. Oh, that is a bit of a surprise. I'd also like to say hello to my puppies who are popping in here. I was just thinking actually before I started that usually I would say, we'd want to say good morning to Gregel, we want to say good morning to Chris, and we also want to say good morning to Cachorro. But anyway, so we can say that now. So good morning to Cachorro and to Nino. And Chris, how are you doing? Good morning.
Oh, that's so awesome to hear that they're here,
Yeah, well,
Rosemary.
let's not go into it because
Yeah,
otherwise
no, I got you.
I should be no good on this show and I should be blubbering. So it's sort of like it was a bit of an unexpected. Anyway, let's moving on now.
Yeah,
Moving
so
on.
good morning, everyone.
So, so now before we get going with anything else, Chris and I do have one or two little housekeeping things to talk to you about because over the last few months, in fact, since Chris has been on board, I have to tell everybody what a terrible, terrible taskmaster she is. Greg was laughing at me. I think I needed one. Anyway, and now I've got one. So Chris is a real taskmaster, and she's always thinking up new ideas, new ways, new different things that we can do, so on and so forth. And so between us, I think it's fair to say I have some say in this, although you never know. Maybe neither of us has a say in this, Chris. Maybe the whole thing is planned completely without our consent or approval or anything by those in the spirit world. And I, for one, would totally trust and go with whatever it was they had to plan. But we do have lots and lots of things that we have in the pipeline that we have possibly planned for you. And one of those is, and we have I won't necessarily say every day, but every week we have several requests or inquiries from people who say to us, are you doing classes? How do I join Soul Evolution, which is one of my online classes? How do we do this? And how can we get involved? And so on. So what I've come up with is this idea of maybe, and everything is a little bit tentative yet. So nothing is yet set in stone, so that we're maybe going to be doing some 6-week courses. Some of those courses will involve healing. Some of them will involve learning how to raise your level of consciousness. What else, Chris, are we thinking of doing?
Communication with self and others.
Yes, sort of the art of communicating. And I wrote an article. I don't know if they're going to print it or not, but I wrote an article for whatever
Mind
it was.
Cafe. Yeah.
Thank you. Some online magazines, whether they print it or not, we're still waiting for that. But it's about communicating. It's a very short article, but it's about communicating and how we can better communicate, not only with our own selves, but with our spouses, with our children. So there are so many different areas that we can look into, and there are so many different things that that are possible for us to offer. So we're actually in the process of sifting out which of those things we actually want to do in the shorter term. And yes, now don't get too excited when I tell you this next thing that we are planning on doing within the next couple of months. And that when I say within the next couple of months, it could be next week. It won't be next week because I'm traveling next week, but it could be within the next 2 weeks, or it could be within the next, or it could be at the end of where are we? March. But within the next couple of months, we do hope to have our first. I don't even know what it's called, Chris. What would we call it?
When
What
you
would
were
we?
doing them live and in person, it was an evening with Rosemary.
That's right. Basically, what it is very much like I don't know if any of you've been to the spiritualist churches. Definitely, we have many spiritualist churches in England. We have one or two scattered about in the US. I know some of you will be appalled to say, "Wait a minute, we have more than one or two," but you get the general gist of things. But when a medium is invited to do a service, a church service in a spiritualist church, that basically there's singing. We have a few hymns. I love to sing, so I'm happy. I'm down with that. We have obviously we have a speaker. Usually the speaker is the same. The medium who is invited is the speaker, who first of all gives some sort of a philosophical or uh, well, whatever she wants, whatever she or he wants to talk about, really. So we have like a little talk, and then yes, and this is the exciting part for most of you, I do know this, and then the medium goes from person to person in the audience, giving messages from the spirit world. And it's usually, if you get a good medium, it's usually pretty good. It's pretty amazing. It can be pretty amazing. Now, my evenings with Rosemary, aside, we didn't do much in the way of singing, right, Chris? We,
No.
we let that go. Unless I decided in the middle of an event to sing something, which did happen from time to time.
Yes, it did.
But basically, talking about mediumship, talking about what it means, explaining to people what mediumship is about and how different mediums work, and the crux of it, then that most people like this part better than any other, is when the medium begins to work. And when I say the medium begins to work, in my case, that means that the medium begins to connect with those in the spirit world and to give messages to their audience. And in this case, it would work on a remote level. Nevertheless, we would have the ability to put screens up so that we could see the person who we're giving the message to, and so on and so forth. So that's exciting. We are planning that. My concern about doing these things, and the reason I haven't done this before, is my concerns are basically keeping the integrity. Because when you're talking to those in the spirit world, you need to remember that this is an enormous responsibility for the medium. Because what you're doing and what you're saying to people can literally change people's lives. It touches people's hearts and it changes people's lives. And it really can make a huge difference in somebody's life. So the medium has to be responsible for what it is that they're saying. They have to make sure that what they are saying is coming from the place they're saying it's coming from, not from their own head, not from their own heart, not from their own being, but that the messages are coming directly from the spirit world. And it requires an awful lot of integrity, because when you're standing in front of an audience, I'm going to tell you it from my point of view here as a medium. You're standing in front of an audience of people. And in my case, I have one of my largest audiences actually was in Italy, in a football stadium. Yes, I'm telling you, a football stadium. But instead of the footballers on the field, it was me running onto the field. I felt like a tiny little midget standing there, because literally, as you know, football stadiums are, there were tiers and tiers and tiers of seats all the way around us. The whole thing was televised. It turned out to be an amazing event. But when you're faced with this as a medium, of course, and also when you're on TV, of course there is this moment, before you start to work, right? Before you actually start to do what you do, there's this moment of, I'm going to be able to do this. There's this moment of, oh gosh, I hope it works for everybody. All these thousands of people have come to see you. What you're going to do if there's nothing coming through? What you're going to do then? You're going to stand there opening and closing your mouth like a fish. So there are these moments prior to any event that a good medium might be involved in, where you have this moment of because the truth of the matter is there's no way to plan it. You can't plan, oh, I'm going to give half an hour of messages here, I'm going to do 10 minutes of something here. In my case, and I'm only talking about in my case, I'm not talking about any other medium or any other person who might do something similar to this. I'm only telling you my own feelings here and my own thoughts and what happens to me. I can never plan. Grey Eagle is the one who's the planner. He knows exactly what's going on, but we don't have a conversation about it beforehand because it unfolds in the way that it should. It unfolds in a way that the spirit world decides. I have no say in it whatsoever. So doing this, so you can imagine my concerns of doing this, even if it's only with a small group of people online. It's one thing to do it when you're standing in front of someone. You can hold their hands, you can give them a hug, you can wipe their tears as they're crying and they're emotional because they're being given a message from their son or their daughter or somebody very special to them. You can do all of those things, but it's very hard to reach through the screen to give somebody a hug. It's very hard to reach through the screen and hold someone's hand who is terribly, terribly nervous and excited and nervous and afraid and joyful all at the same time. It's very hard for me to I had this yesterday. I had it in the morning, I had it in the afternoon. I had people crying and I just wanted to reach out and hold them tight and make them feel better, but you can't do it. So the integrity of something like this, the integrity of doing a show like this is very important to me because I was going to say you can't make it up. Now we all know, don't we, that there are people out there who claim to be mediums who are either making it up deliberately or they have fooled themselves into believing that this is what they're doing. So we all know that there are people who do that, but we all know that there are people who are real and who are solid, who do this and they're very genuine about it. And what I try to do as we're giving messages, as I'm talking to the spirit world and as I'm giving messages, I try to listen very carefully, not to put my interpretation on what is being said, but to actually use the words of those in the spirit world as much as I can, and to give what it is that they want me to give. However, I'm a human being. Did you notice that? I'm a human with all my faults and failings. I'm human, and my emotions sometimes just get in the way, and so I want to reach out and I want to be a part of the messages that I'm giving, and I want to reach out and I want to hold somebody's hand. So if you are one of these people who thinks maybe you would be interested in that, please, 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 you need to, what is it they need to do, Chris?
I think they should email the office. So Chris, Kris at rosemaryaltea.com, and say, I'm interested in whatever you've spoken about, whether it's upcoming classes in a subject or, yes, I would love to be part of the evening with Rosemary. Let us know your interest, because if you're not interested, we don't want to spend the time, right?
Yeah. I'm also thinking that everybody should sort of hot foot to, over the next couple of months, keep your eyes skinned, everybody, because if you are interested, we will be posting it on my website and we will be letting people know. And as you probably can imagine, if I am going to do this and I say to people, I'm going to be talking to the dead this week, we know that the dead aren't dead, don't we? I have my puppies in the room with me. This is very hard to focus right now, but we know that we don't die. So when I say the dead, you know perfectly well that I mean those who have passed into the spirit world, who are still very much with us and who very, very much want to talk to us. And we get requests from people all over the place. Now, we also are thinking, if we can manage to do this, we're thinking of getting, we have one lovely lady who I'm hoping has volunteered to, we've still got to iron it all out, but she speaks, well, she is Italian, but she speaks fluent English. So she's willing to do some interpreting. Is that right? No, she's not going to interpret for us,
A
is she?
translator.
She's going to translate for us. So we have a lovely lady who's going to translate from Italian. She also speaks Japanese. So if you're out there, you know somebody who's Japanese who would like to try this out, but they can't, they don't understand English, we've got that. We're also looking for, you know, people who maybe can speak. I'm just thinking fluent Spanish, because that's we have a huge Spanish following, an enormous Italian following. So you know, if you know of anyone who works as a translator, and please understand there's a very big difference between a translator and an interpreter. I'm not looking for an interpreter. I don't want someone to listen to my words and then say what they think I'm saying. I want a translator, which means I want someone to repeat my words, because they're not really my words, are they? They're the words from those in the spirit world. And again, we come back to the point of responsibility. Sometimes if I don't hear someone in the spirit world really clearly, I have to listen really, really carefully. And the good thing, the good news here is that I have Grey Eagle with me, who can put his hand on my shoulder and say, no, that's not what they said. This is what they said. So I try not to interpret and put my own take on what I think I'm hearing. Again, it's not an easy job, I have to tell you, but again, it's about integrity and using integrity. So if you are interested, and it really won't be an evening with Rosemary, it could, who knows what it's going to be. It could be that we'll do it on a Saturday morning, or we could be that we'll do it on a Tuesday afternoon or something. We don't know when we're going to be doing it. But again, if you are interested, please go to my website and subscribe. We are on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook. We're actually all over the place. So just keep checking if you are interested in being with me and hearing from the spirit world. And Grey Eagle will be with me and helping me to do this. If you are interested, because I know so many of you are on these mornings, on the Thursday morning show, and also on our story time on Saturday morning. So many of you are saying, can you give me a message from my mother, my grandmother, my daughter, my son, etc., etc., etc. And very often there's no real time, or we give a brief message, but even that brief message can be mind-blowing in a way. We gave a message, I don't remember, was it on Saturday morning, Chris, or was it on last Thursday? I don't remember, to a lovely lady. I don't even remember what the relationship was. It her sister or her, I think it might have been her sister. And we only had a short amount of time to give the message, but the message was loud and clear, because the sister who was in the spirit world said to me, tell her to make me a cake. It's my birthday. Tell her to make me a cake, and make it a coffee cake. And this is one of those moments when I have to look to Grey Eagle to say, did I hear that right? You don't see me saying all of that, because we do it in a whole different way here now. But I'm saying to him, was that right? Did I actually hear that right? not a chocolate cake, it's a coffee cake. Are you sure it's a coffee cake? And sure enough, it was a coffee cake. And sure enough, this lovely lady came back to us and was wowed. She was bowled over because of all her favourite cakes, her sister's very favourite of all was a coffee cake. Little tiny pieces of information which actually tell us that actually this is real. But then coming back to, excuse me, coming back to talking about integrity and coming back to uh, the way that I work as a medium, and again, I'm only talking about my own self. I can remember I was on a Lisa Gibbons show, and they put me they put me in a dark room, away from the audience, away from I couldn't hear anything. They put me in. It was almost like a bit of a broom closet. It was very dark in there. There was a chair, and uh, I sat on this chair. And then not only did they put me in this chair in it right away from the studios, right away from the audience, so it was clear I would not be able to hear what was going on. They also put headphones on me to block out any sound I might have. So here I am sitting in this dark room. Of course, you don't see any of this on the TV show, do you? You just see me being introduced and I come onto the show and there are people on the sofa who they want me to talk to. I know nothing about any of this. All I know is I've been in this dark little room for about 20, 30 minutes or something while they do their thing with headphones on. But this is my time to be quiet, to talk to Grey Eagle. And I'd been on the Lisa Gibbons show, I think, once before at this point. And probably they'd had people saying, well, how do you know she didn't hear? Or how do you know she doesn't know people in the audience? Or, well, how do you know that this is real? So they decided they'd put me in a cupboard, put some headphones on me so I couldn't hear anything. And hey, now we know if she can do it now after all of that, then now we know it's real. So this is what they did. But as I was talking to Grey Eagle, it was it was a bit daunting because again you've got millions of people viewing this show, so you're right there and putting yourself in a very, very vulnerable position. And what if, and there are all these what ifs. What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm having an off day? What if this time I won't be able to do it? What if, what if, what if? One of the things that we're going to be doing that and we're planning on doing is having a course or a class on power symbols, power animals and power symbols. But as I sat in this closet, my power symbol is an eagle feather. And as I sat in this closet, Grey Eagle placed in front of me, right before my eyes, an eagle feather. And as I looked, it grew and it grew and it grew to giant size. In other words, Grey Eagle was saying to me, own your power, just own your power, trust, just go out there and do it. And that, as a medium, is what I have to do. So we are going to do this thing. I am going to be having a whole hour, possibly two, session. It won't be the first. It will be the first, but it won't be the last. If it works out, I'm going to take my courage in my hands. I'm going to hope that the spirit world is with me on this. And now Grey Eagle is laughing, so I think it might work. I think it might work out. But we're going to be doing this because I know there are so many of you out there who are lost right now. What with COVID and people are losing their jobs, and the world seems to be in a bit of a turmoil, and the political unrest that there is everywhere. I know that people want to hear from the spirit world. I know that you want to hear from your angels. I absolutely am certain sure that once you get to know Grey Eagle, you want to hear from him too. So this is what we're planning on doing. Again, we do not have a date, but within the next couple of months, we're planning on doing this. So if you're interested, we shall be putting it out. We should be giving people plenty of notice, but we expect it to be sold out pretty quickly. Tickets will be sold out. So we shall be telling you when it is on this show. We'll be telling you on Storytime, but most importantly, it will be on our website. So again, it could be in 2 weeks' time, it could be in a month, it could be at the end of March. It will be somewhere in between there. So don't kick yourself and say, I didn't know. And if you would please share this information with all of your friends, all of your colleagues, all of your family, if you would share, because I know that there are so many people out there who are interested in wanting to know more about this and wanting to experience it. We've had so many people who have written to us saying, I would have come to hear Grey Eagle speak, but I didn't know. Well, then pay attention. Share with everybody you know. Grey Eagle will be speaking again at some point fairly soon. Again, pay attention. Subscribe to our website. If you subscribe, we'll send you an email when things are happening. So subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing. I think I've said enough, right, Chris? Let's have
I hope everyone has the message by now. Yes.
Let's have some questions and comments, shall we?
All right, we're going to start off with Michael. Michael says, hello, Rosemary.
Good morning, Michael.
I have spoken to you about my mother who passed away of cancer in the past. She recently came to me in a dream. She did not look like herself in life. The skin color and hair color were exactly the same, but facial features were very distorted. We embraced and hugged, and I was so overwhelmed with a feeling of love and joy that I had to jolt myself awake because the feeling was so overwhelming. In a good way. Can you explain why her facial features may have been distorted?
I can. Everything is about energy, Michael. Everything we do, everything we are ourselves pure energy. And so sometimes in using that energy, it's a little bit like trying to, when we connect with those in the spirit world, it's sort of like connecting with a telephone. Sometimes it gets distorted. Sometimes it's sort of, we don't quite get. We sort of, then we get, then we don't quite. So there can be some distortion. It is not that her features are distorted. It is the connection or the energy. And I think that when we first connect in this way with our loved ones, and how wonderful for you that you did that, Michael. I'm thrilled to bits that you had that experience. But when we do that, it can be so overwhelming. It can be so emotionally overwhelming that, our energy is that emotional, overwhelming feeling. And so our energy can waver, it can be distorted. And remember, it's not just your emotion, Mike. It's not just about your emotion, Michael. It's also, it's about the emotions of your mother, of those in the spirit world who come to us. When I've just been talking about mediumship, and sometimes, and this happened to me just this week, talking to someone, the emotions can be so overwhelming from that person. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness, I'm here. I've got this opportunity. Finally, I can talk to my wife, my mother, my whoever it is. Oh my goodness, can you imagine that you're coming through from the spirit world and you've got this opportunity, but you know that you've only got a short window of time to make it clear. It's really me. So it can be very overwhelming, and the pressure that is put on those in the spirit world can be tremendous. And it's not just about the pressure that the medium has, will it work or won't it work? It's the pressure that is on those in the spirit world too, because to be able to finally be heard, to be able finally to say to your loved ones who have been left behind, I'm here, it's okay, I'm here. And the pressure that they have of trying to give that little bit of evidence, that little bit of proof, which they know that we need. Of course we do. So the pressure can be really overwhelming for them as well. So don't worry that your mother's features are distorted, darling. It's just the energy that is being used. It's the energy that is around you. That is that distortion that you have. But I am so thrilled. And when people hear you said, and I had to jolt myself awake, people think that, oh well, it's just a dream then. But you and I both know it's not, because there is a huge difference between something that you are dreaming and something that is real. And our loved ones in the spirit world will so often come to us in our sleep state. And they do that simply because in our sleep state, our barriers are down. There's nothing to stop that connection. So fabulous. Thank you for sharing that with me, Michael. Thank you for sharing it with all of us. It's fantastic. I'm so excited for you. Chris.
Michelle is on.
Yes. Good morning, Michelle.
I never got to say goodbye to my dad. The next sentence is unclear. I'll just read it as is. But Will is passing have been okay. I did see his body and remember his eyes looking shocked. So I think
What
she's
you're
asking for
seeing,
that connection.
I'm sorry.
I was saying, I think she's just asking, can you help her with that connection?
Yeah, I think that when we're looking at someone who has passed and you see the physical body, that is not an indication necessarily of how they passed. And I'm pretty sure I'm listening to Gregor, and I'm pretty sure that your dad had I'm told, a beautiful passing. Yes, of course, when we especially for those who don't believe that they're going to see their loved ones, it can be a bit shocking when all of a sudden your mother turns up to lead you to to lead you, let's call it over the bridge, to lead you over the bridge, or to leave you to lead you over that space, or to help you to pass through the tunnel, whatever it is, however it is you want to say it. It can be a bit of a shock. Truly, it can be. You don't believe. When you're dead, you're dead. And oh, wait, hold on. Just wait. Yes. So a lot of people have to rethink, of what is happening to them in that moment of passing. A lot of people have to rethink who and what is who and who is that? What is that? No, it surely can't be an angel. Oh yeah, but it is. So I'm sure there are a lot of people in for a shock. All of those people who say this is rubbish, it's nonsense, they're playing on your sensitivities, or whatever people say. The spirit world isn't real, there's no such thing, blah 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 blah, and all of that stuff. Well, watch out, because it can be a bit shocking. Yes, Chris.
All right, we have Sherry.
Morning, Sherry.
Sherry's from Kentucky. She
Hi.
said, please help me connect with a very special friend who passed in 1994. I've waited so long to hear from him. And also, thank you for the advice you gave me with my husband. It helped tremendously.
Gosh, I wonder what I told her. Sherry, I don't remember what advice I gave you about your husband, but I'm glad it was helpful. I think that, this is what we have to understand. And I know that from time to time I give messages from the spirit world, but they are brief. They are, small things, little things. And on a show like this, we don't always have the time. So I'm going to suggest that maybe you'd like to, and even then I can't promise to give you a message, but I'm going to suggest that you might want to come to some of our well, I know. What are we going to call it, Chris? We can't call it an evening with Rosemary, because it might be a morning with Rosemary or something. So
Maybe
we're
we
not
can
quite sure. If
ask your
anybody,
audience what they would like to call it.
yeah, I was
With
just
some
going to say,
ideas.
let's come up with some ideas. what should we call it when Rosemary is talking to the spirit world and you're all included and able to be included in that? I mean, you know, I don't know quite what we'd call it. So any ideas, just write into our email address, Chris, Kris, at rosemaryaltea.com, and put forth your suggestions. And if we use one of them, we'll let you know. This is what you need to do, my darling. Just sort of, check this out. And, we will be having the groups for this will not be huge groups. There won't be thousands of people. You won't be fighting amongst thousands of people. That doesn't mean we'll guarantee that you get a message, but if you come often enough and you try often enough, and your loved ones in the spirit world are persistent enough, then sooner or later it should happen. Chris.
All right. Sam's son is telling us that they have a wonderful spiritualist church in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, fabulous. I'm so pleased for you. And all I can tell you is they've never invited me to come along. Should I be just teasing? But I have been to a few spiritualist churches in this country, in the United States, and have always had fabulous experiences, wonderful experiences. And I have to say that everybody treats me so nicely. In fact, wherever I go, people treat me nicely. And if they don't, watch out. But they usually treat me really nicely. Chris.
Could that be because you treat them very nicely? Imagine how that works.
I don't know. I don't know, really.
Carol's saying there's no spiritualist church in Southeast Arizona, at least that she's aware of, and she's looked and looked, which is why, amongst other things, she comes here to see you online.
Well, be prepared then. Get ready, because if this works out and we do it, and I feel that it works out well enough, and that I'm comfortable with it, it will be a regular part of what we do. How about that? Maybe we should call it the Church of something. What? I don't know quite what. Or maybe not. I don't think I want to be a church. I think I want to be an everything. So when you think of a church, and I always think of my old church when I was growing up, that was like my family. It was a Baptist church. I was actually telling someone the story only yesterday. It was a Baptist church. In England, we don't have nearly so much fun in our Baptist churches as you do here in the United States. We don't do all of that singing and dancing and hallelujah stuff. We're much more serious. We are British after all. But these people were my family. But I think when you sort of you have a church or you're involved in a church, it can be very limiting. My church would be something on the lines of, I'm not creating a church, everybody, just so you're clear. That's the last thing I want to do. But it would be the church of everybody's welcome. And it wouldn't matter to me whether you were, I don't know, a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Christian, a Catholic, doesn't matter. I don't care. And all the others that I missed, by the way, it wouldn't matter to me, because I think that this subject, the life after death, and connecting with people who have passed into the spirit world, it's a worldwide, and it doesn't exclude anyone. Chris.
Wendy's on, and she's asking, would you have the ability to connect with her mother?
Hi, Wendy. Of course, I would have the ability. If your mother would want to do it, and I'm sure she would, but not this morning, because we've got lots of questions to answer, and we're running out of time. Chris, it's because I was talking so long, isn't it? So.
Well, Maria's on, but she's written in Italian, unfortunately, so I cannot read it. But Maria, we do have a person who's willing to be a translator for our lovely Italian friends, and we can give you that information if you write the office.
Yes, we have at least one translator. We are going to get, I keep saying translator, don't I? Why do I keep saying that? We have,
Yes, you want a translator. It's the interpreter you
oh, we
don't
do.
want.
That's why we keep saying it then.
Yeah.
We have a translator who speaks Italian. She is Italian, but speaks English fluently. She also speaks fluent Japanese. We are looking for people who speak Spanish. We're looking for translators who speak any language, really. We're not limited, are we?
No.
And that information is on our website, Maria. Go to the website, Maria, where we shall have the names of these people and their contact numbers. Now, just to be clear, everybody, if you connect with a translator, or you want to talk to me, or you want a translator to come on our show, or if you are, for instance, we're doing this the connecting with the spirit world, if you want to bring a translator along, that's entirely your prerogative, and you can do that, and perhaps you should do that. Just because we put up suggestions on our website does not mean that it's anything to do with me. We just give people, we make suggestions. You take the suggestions or not. We do not get paid for it. We do not get any part of any money that anybody charges. We have nothing to do with it except I know this person, I've worked with this person, try this person. That's the only thing we can do. So we make suggestions, but please go to the website if you need more information on a translator.
Okay.
Chris.
Johan's on. Hello, Rosemary. Greetings from
Morning.
the Netherlands.
Good morning, Johan.
Blessing to you and yours. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Michael says he would love to be part of an evening with Rosemary. And Bridget is on.
Morning,
Rose,
Bridget.
Rosemary, I'm facing some life changes. I could use firm direction on my next step and how to handle my marriage with these changes.
I'm going to say that you need a consultation because you've got lots of issues going on here, I think. You've got the possibility of moving. You've got the possibility of changing your lifestyle. If you want to retain your marriage, you've got the possibility of having to explain to your husband and hoping that he's going to be supportive and go along with you. But he might have his own issues and his own, you know, great lifestyle or his own job to deal with. So just if you can, I think the best thing I can say to you is because of all of these issues that you have, I can give you a quick follow your heart stuff, but you think you need more help and more advice. So my suggestion to you would be find a good medium and be careful, be critical, but go with that. Find a good medium and have a session with a good medium. I promise you it is worth it. People come to me, they come to me from all over the world, but they come with not just necessarily wanting to talk to those in the spirit world, but wanting help, wanting guidance, wanting advice. I sometimes do feel a bit like a marriage guidance counselor because so often I'll come across someone who is changing their life, and this may be in the throes of doing this, and they think that in order to do that they have to give up their marriage, and then they're listening to me and realize that they actually don't have to give anything up at all. There are people who talk to me, they think that their marriage is dead, and then all of a sudden they discover it isn't by talking to me, by talking to their loved ones in the spirit world who are giving them help and advice. So I think, in this case, you don't need that quick fix. I could tell you follow your heart, but it's not really going to help you at the end of the day as much as having a full consultation would. I feel as if I'm sort of touting for business here, but trust me, I really don't need to. So, but that would be my advice to you. Chris,
Betta is on.
good morning,
Hi,
better.
Hi, Rosemary. I'm the only one in my family who always remembers my dear grandparents willingly. My relatives don't believe in the afterlife. They said it is useless to talk about the past. Do you have any messages for me?
Um, well, I think to say that it's useless to talk about the past is a nonsense, because going into the past, as long as you're doing it constructively and not negatively, going into the past can be extremely helpful, and it can be a way of looking at, well, I did this and this and this and made a real mistake. I'm going to learn from it. You can't learn from your mistakes unless you visit them and occasionally revisit them. I don't have any messages for anyone from the spirit world this morning, but keep going, Chris. We'll have comments or questions as they come to you.
Okay. Cheryl says if we had ancestors from thousands of years ago, are they ever helpers to us in this time period? I have ancestors traced only back to the 1600s England.
Okay. The furthest back that, good question. I like the question. The furthest back that I've ever gone is somewhere in the region of about maybe 200 years. And I do believe that the reason that I've only ever gone back that far, and I'm thinking, I did an experiment with a friend of mine. This is why we went back that far. And we went, I think it was maybe just over 200 years. But we were still able to go back and go through the records and find out what it was that we were talking about. So we did this experiment to see how far back we could go for me to connect with someone in the spirit world. And it actually turned out to be something like a great, 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 how many greats back it was, I don't remember, to a grandmother who was very delighted to help us and very delighted to give help and advice to my friend, which was an unexpected bonus to our experiment. But yes, I've been back, oh gosh, so at least 200 years sometimes. And you wonder, well, come on, after 200 years, aren't people moving on? Aren't they doing something else? But every now and again, actually, no. If somebody in the spirit world sort of takes a little peek and decides that, oh, maybe I could help this one, or maybe I could guide this one. I don't think time is the issue here, because time is a very, very different thing in the spirit world than time as we know it here on this earth. So I think 200 years, as far as universal time goes, 200 years is a blink of an eye. I love the question, though. Thank you. Yes, keep going, Chris.
So, as I'm to understand it, Rosemary, to move over anyone who's asking for a message from someone, move over
Yeah,
that question.
look, I know that this is what you all want. Look, we're already deciding and working on how we can do this to the best of our ability, because I know that so many of you out there do have your loved ones in the spirit world, and you would desperately like to hear from them, which is why we're going to be setting up this time with Rosemary connecting with the spirit world. So my feeling is we are short on time here. So Chris, as I'm just saying to everybody out there who wants to connect with the loved one in the spirit world, not today. Chris, keep going.
Adrian's saying, good morning. I know you said it's going to get bad around the world with everything going on. Do you know when it should happen? I have been praying a lot for peace.
Oh, you are so lovely. And look, if collective prayer, if everyone out there in the world prayed for peace, we'd have it, wouldn't we? But I'm going to add my prayers to yours. So collective prayer, it becomes much more powerful. I said it will get worse before it gets better. That's always proving. That's already proving to be the case. I said that in October, I think. It's already proving to be the case. The 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 stuff that is going on is just horrible for all of us. I know. I promise you it will get better. I'm not sure when, but I had a conversation with my daughter the other day and I said to her, look, I told you it's going to get worse before it gets better. But hold on to the fact that it will get better. I promise all of you out there, it will get better. I was actually watching a Victorian thing the other day, a movie the other day, and they were going through this, I know it sounds horrible, but they were going through all sorts of the Black Plague, I think it was, or something or another, and people were worrying about so many different things, and here we are 100 years later, and we've got over those things. We managed them somehow. Look back in history. This is a point where you can look back and see what was terrible and what we thought was the end of the world actually was a glitch. Maybe not a small glitch, but nevertheless a glitch that we managed to overcome. We are human beings with a lot of power and a lot of energy. We can overcome these things, and as we learn to overcome them and as we become stronger with these things, then life will get better. It does not help, by the way, if any politician out there is listening, would you cut it out? Would you cut out the fear factor? And the media, would you cut it out? Cut out all the fear and all of, you know, the things that drive people to being more and more fearful. It would be much better if the media and the politicians were to enable us and to help us to be more positive. Just saying. Chris.
Sharon wants to know, how do people in the spirit world communicate? Is it telepathy?
Good question. It is a type of telepathy, I suppose. Um, Again, I'm only going to speak for my own self. I do not know how other mediums work, so I can only tell you how it works for me. Sometimes I will see them and I will hear them as clearly as I'm hearing Chris today. And if you're not hearing Chris clearly, well, no, I'm hearing her very clearly. So sometimes I will hear them talking to me very, very clearly. I will hear their voices. Sometimes I will hear the energy of their voices, and I can't explain it to you clearer except to say, and I imagine that dolphins and whales and all of those creatures who we know have these sort of sensory things going on, it's a little bit as if the sound seeps through your skin rather than hearing with your ears, which I do very often, but rather than hearing with your ears, it's almost as if the sound seeps through your skin. You hear it just the same. It's just as clear, but it's a whole different way. So there are lots of different ways. Sometimes someone in the spirit world will draw me a picture, because let me tell you, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And just by looking at the picture, or just by looking at the symbol, or just by looking at something that they are showing to me, which is sort of more of a picture or picture type thing, you know exactly what it is that they're trying to convey to you. You know exactly what it is that they're saying to you. And with Grey Eagle's help, I'm able to sort of figure out what that is. I also remember have Grey Eagle, who puts his hand on my shoulder every time I'm about to get something wrong. He'll say, not quite right there. This is what this is meant to be. This is what this means. So, you know, sometimes you hear it's as if somebody is right in your ear, and then at another time it's as if you're listening from a distance, so you have to listen more carefully. So there are different ways, and it depends on the people that you're connecting with. It depends on the energy, it depends on my energy at any given time of the day, and it depends on the energy of those in the spirit world, how easily they can convey. Also remember, and I also talked about this earlier, it depends on the emotions at play. Sometimes people in the spirit world are so emotionally overwhelmed. As you know, sometimes we get so emotionally overwhelmed that we can barely speak. Our throat clogs up and we can't get our words out properly because we are so emotional. Sometimes we are so tearful and so emotional, it's hard for us to convey. Sometimes somebody else will step in to help that person. I like to give people time. I like to tell them to breathe. I like to tell them, just stay calm, my darling, and just keep. You can do this. You can do this. So a whole variety of ways that I personally will work with those in the spirit world. Chris.
Calla says, oh, sorry, it just scrolled on me. 1 second. May I ask you and Gray Eagle, with COVID going all over the world, I want to ask you if my son of 1 year, sisters, my husband, and me will remain healthy with what is left of this year. Thank you in advance.
Wow. Well, I get why you're asking me, but it's too big a question. You're asking me to say to you that your family are going to be safe. This is not just about COVID. People have digestive problems. They have indigestion. They have headaches. They have, they become ill for a variety of reasons. Sometimes small inconsequential sicknesses, and sometimes bigger uh, illnesses. So I'm going to stick with your son and say he's safe. I'm going to stick with those who are very close to you. They are safe. Try not to worry too much, my darling. You know, no one. Well, actually, I was going to say no one can predict, and of course we can predict. But what you're asking is so general. It's so huge a question, and it would be absolutely. We talked about integrity earlier, right? It would be absolutely irresponsible of me to say to you, your whole family is going to be fine, so don't worry about it. So I can't say that because there are too many of them and too many variables here. Um, but I see you as a protective mother and a wonderful wife, and I see you in a close knit family. Uh, and I'm hearing Gregor say safe, so you'll be safe. Stay safe. Okay, Chris.
Mark wants to know if Gray
Good
Eagle can
morning,
help
Mark.
if Gray Eagle can help him with his niece, Carol. Carol wants to know who her spirit guide is.
Yes, well, that's Mark. That's a whole big subject. That's a big, wide subject. She shouldn't be looking for her spirit guide. She should be looking for those in her family. She should be looking for those who are close in your family who have passed into the spirit world who will help and guide her. But she should be looking slowly and tentatively. Don't rush it. We will be having classes about this. We've already said we'll be doing all sorts of things. So keep taking a peek at my website, rosemaryaltea.com. It's all one word. Just go rosemaryaltea.com. We'll be keeping you posted. And if you subscribe, you will get our monthly newsletter also. Yes, Chris.
All right, we've got 3 minutes left.
Uh-oh.
There's a few comments about what you should call your new revised Evening with Rosemary, and
Oh,
one of
good.
them is Rosemary's Room.
Yes.
Another is Tea with Rosemary.
Oh, well, English tea with scones and cream and that sort of thing.
Let's see if
Yes.
there were any more. Rosemary's Room.
Well, Rosemary's Room, it wouldn't be really Rosemary's Room, would it? I'll be that one little tiny speck in the corner, hopefully, with all of those people in the spirit world who will be lining up, hopefully, to give messages to their loved ones, which would be all of you.
Another name is the Church of International Spiritual Learning.
Goodness me, bit of a mouthful. I like it. I'm not sure I want to use the word church, but we're going to look at all of these things and see if we like them. Thank you though and just keep them coming even after the show. If you think, oh, we could call it this or this or that, email me, please email me and let me know your thoughts. And don't forget, everybody out there, share, because there are an awful lot of people who I know are going to be very, very interested in the fact that I'm finally going to be spending at least an hour, if not longer, if not maybe two, talking to people in the spirit world and giving messages. It's taken me a long time to do it, I know, but integrity is the key. So I know that all of you are interested. Let people know this is what she's going to be doing. See if we can get the tom-toms going, shall we? See if we can get the word out, get the message out. Uh-oh. It's Rosemary. She's on the move. Here we go. Yes, Chris, anything else?
One more. Gabriella is on. Hi, Rosemary. How are you? I hope fine.
Yes.
I would like to ask Gray Eagle if my son, who is 7 months, can see someone from the spirit world, or is it my imagination? A lot of times he looks to some place where there is nothing there and laughs a lot. He seems to be speaking with someone.
I love it, Gabriella. I love it. Uh, our tiny tots, our gorgeous little babies, they see, they sense, they are aware, and obviously there is some angel looking over this child. How fabulous, how wonderful. It isn't your imagination. Pay attention. You might, as you're sitting with him or nursing him or rocking him at some point, you might just catch a glimpse of that person, your own self. But how wonderful for you. I had this with my own daughter. I had this with my grandson. It's when they sort of looking into that space that you don't think there's anything there, but they see what you don't see. And when they chuckle because somebody in the spirit world is saying something to make them laugh, I mean, oh gosh, it's precious. All right, Chris, I think that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I'm sorry we were not giving messages today, but we will be doing this more and more. But now you know that there is something upcoming. It's going to be the first of, we hope, many sessions on a regular basis. We hope. There are a lot of people out there who would like to know more about that. Please, would you share this with all of your friends, with all of your family, whether you think they believe or whether you don't think, it doesn't matter. Just share. Press that share button, would you? And just share with everybody out there. We will be doing more and more and more. I didn't have anyone comment on my terrible piano playing. Can you believe that, Chris?
I don't think it was. Maybe that's
It
why.
was. It was. I
Was
hadn't
it
touched the
fun?
piano. Oh yeah, I always used to go to the piano. If ever there was a worry or a concern, that was my go-to place. But haven't touched the piano in years. If you want to see it, you'll find it on my Facebook page or you'll find it on Instagram. Just a bit of a something that we thought. I was thinking of Cachuro actually, and I sat down and just played that little piece. Uh, it's a little Beethoven piece. Maybe that's why the 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 kids have come to play today. Who knows? Anyway, uh, but so you see, I'm full of these things. We're going to be doing a cooking thing when I get back to where is it? When we get back to Florida, I'm going to be doing a cooking show, a cooking thing. We're going to be. What would you like to see me cooking? How about that? Why don't you send that in to the email and we'll see if we can come up with something that I like to cook, that I can show you how to cook and share with you, but not, you probably know how to cook, but I can share with you my ways and what I do. I'm going to be making a birthday cake for my grandson. He is 8 years old on the 12th of February, so maybe we'll do a little video of me making that. He wants gold chocolate hearts, which he will get on my very, very famous chocolate cake. Right, Chris, we'll be doing a video of that maybe. So,
That
all
sounds
right.
good.
So until I see you Saturday morning, we are going to be having our story time. Same place, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be telling yet another story of my escapades with those in the spirit world. Until then, until I see you again, please, please, please have a very, very blessed rest of the day. For those of you who are listening, who are part of my class, Soul Evolution class, remember the party tonight. What time does it start, Chris?
8:30 Eastern
8:30.
Standard.
So party tonight. Bring cheese, bring wine or something. I'm not bringing wine because I don't drink wine, but so and we're told also to bring the pendulum. Yes, well, we'll see what we can do with that. All right, so that's it. Please, everyone, thank you very much for joining me. I'd like to say thank you to Grey Eagle for being here with us. I'd like to say thank you to you, Chris, for being with us. I'd love to say thank you, and saying thank you to the puppies for just sort of popping in and giving a little heads up here. And I'd like to say thank you especially to all of you. Thank you so much for your support. Be excited. Please be excited. Good things are coming, and we'll keep looking on my website to see what those things are. In the meantime, please have a very blessed rest of today, and hopefully I shall see you on Saturday morning. Don't forget, share. Bye bye.